Tracy Walder, NewsNation national security contributor, also a former CIA officer and FBI special agent. Tracy, thank you so much for joining us. You were a part of our coverage on this yesterday, and I know that you were very cautious in what you had to say. And Tracy, now I understand why. Where we saw public officials immediately jump the gun and say that this was something that it turned out not to be, which is why you've cautioned before to just step back, look at the information, and actually see what's happening. When you had an opportunity to see this, Tracy, what did you walk away with?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Nick, and happy Thanksgiving. I think the first thing was when I saw the crash itself, when CBP had released the CCTV of the crash. Thank goodness more people weren't killed. I'm actually surprised that more were not, and I'm very glad that more were not. But a few things kind of came to my mind just in terms of security. How was somebody able to get at that high rate of speed? I mean, we're speaking probably over 100 miles an hour, and able to sort of breach that security guard area, if you will. And I think that is where my brain first went, is sort of all the security issues that I could see happening here as a result of this. Look, I'm glad that this was not an act of terrorism. I will be the first to admit that I do think my brain sort of went there a little bit. But I do think it sort of shows some security issues that we do have at our border.
Tracy, security issues that you believe now will be reinforced, reevaluated, looked at, and improved upon?
My hope is yes. I think the reality is, when I served in Afghanistan, for example, and I was in some of the CIA bases that were there, we had ways to slow cars down before they came to our checkpoints, well before they came to our checkpoints. And what I'm seeing here is there's a lack of that. If a car was able to get that close to a checkpoint at that high rate of speed, that is problematic because it can turn a vehicle into a weapon. That obviously wasn't the intent here, but it easily is something could happen. And I do think it's something that they need to look at, and I'm assuming it's something that will be addressed in regards to security protocol.
Tracy, what does it say to you in your professional experience that so many people, including some elected officials, immediately went to the worst possible case scenario of it being an act of terrorism?
I think we're all human. And I think the reality is we are in a heightened state right now. We do have a very tenuous, somewhat explosive situation going on in the Middle East. We have issues going on in Ukraine and Russia right now. And I call the world sort of a geopolitical tinderbox right now, if you will. And I think the fact is, I think a lot of people's brains went to this, whether that's right or wrong. I don't know. But I think what that says to me is we are in this heightened state of alert right now. And really, we're sort of sitting in the middle of a tinderbox.
And I think sometimes, Tracy, we expect our political leaders to somehow wear a shield or cape or somehow and be our saviors when we have to realize that they're human too. But I do believe that one of the things that works best in a situation like this is a move of caution. We saw Governor Hochul be extremely cautious when she addressed the public. In fact, she even was quick to point out that there was nothing to determine that this was deliberate. She was very clear and specific in her language. We need to see more of that, don't we?
I couldn't agree with you more, Nick. And in fact, yesterday I was really praising Governor Hochul and in terms of how she was responding to this. And I do think I completely agree with you that, they are invaluable. They don't wear capes. But the reality is if you are an elected official, I do think you owe it to the people that you represent to have all the facts, quite frankly, before you go public with that information. And I think she has done a wonderful job. Whereas, we see sort of Carrie Lake and some other individuals that really sort of jumped to terrorism and sort of reported it as fact, and that is problematic. Governor Hochul's done a wonderful job.
Tracy, last question I have for you. You saw how quick NYPD was to respond to that demonstration during the Thanksgiving Day parade. None of that surprises you because they had already been at a heightened alert. Can we expect NYPD to respond that quickly to anything else that may pop up over the weekend?
Absolutely, Nick. So, really, Governor Hochul, one of the things that she has done is really beefed up the JTTF in New York, that arrangement of terrorism task force between the FBI, between law enforcement agencies. And I do think that is one reason that they were able to respond so quickly. And I absolutely expect that they will respond in that same expeditious manner if there are other issues.
Tracy, last question. I got to let you go. Your Thanksgiving wish for the men and women wearing the uniform this weekend?
My wish is that they all come home safe, they all come home sound, and they have my debt of gratitude for their service. And Nick, thank you for your service as well.
Tracy Walder, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, and thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.